Composing and decomposing units is at the heart of our number system. If students are able to make or break units, also known as composing and decomposing units, or bundling and unbundling units, they'll be able to do so much with our number system, with our operations from kindergarten past 5th grade, both with whole numbers and with fractions. So let's look a little bit more closely at the work they're doing in this lesson. Again, these are just different ways to say the same thing. We use the terms bundling and unbundling when we use straws, and you can physically see that you can bundle 10 straws, or you can unbundle 110 into 10 ones. The same is true for one bundle of 100. You can bundle it, creating 100 with 10 tens, or you can unbundle it so that 100 becomes 10 tens. That's a visual way to think about what we're doing with our units. The most mathematical terminology might be composing and decomposing the units. And some students feel comfortable using language like making a new unit or breaking the unit. So those are just some different ways to think about it or to explain it. In this lesson, students really need to look at the units to see what they're making and what they might need to get to that next unit. So if I have 2 ones, how many more ones do I need to make 1 10? I would need 8 ones. 2 plus 8 equals 10. This work helps students focus on how 1 10 is bigger than 2 ones, and that you'd need 8 more ones just to make 1 10. As adults, it seems very simple, perhaps, but you can see as we look more closely that it could be a little confusing if a student doesn't have strong number sense, if they don't recognize what 1 10 is and really see that it's a bundle made of several smaller units, and in this case, 10 smaller ones. So to make 100, if we have 2 tens, how many more tens do we need? Okay, let's think about our tens. 2 tens plus 8 tens equals 100. We're going to use and parallel this work of building ones into tens and building tens into hundreds. So 20 plus 80 equals 100. That work should be fairly simple for students because they've done this work earlier in the year. Now we look at the same kind of idea, but it's just in a different form. We start with 110. This helps students think a little bit more about unbundling or decomposing because we're seeing the unit that we have that's larger first. So I have 110, and that's going to be made of 4 ones and 6 ones. So 10 is equal to 4 plus 6. And if I have 100 made in tens, I would have 4 tens plus 6 tens to equal 100. 100 is the same as 40 plus 60 together. Some students may need a visual of 100 and then say, well, let's see, we're going to need to make that into tens. How many tens is 100 made of? And we can draw our 6 tens that we already know we need. And then think, how many more tens would we need for 100? We know 100 is made of 10 tens. If a student does not know that 100 is made of 10 tens, this work is going to be very challenging. You may want to go back to the work from Module 3, such as Lesson 14, where we were doing some of that practice. We'll see here that we'll use different language. 3 ones plus 7 ones. Now we're looking for 10. That's 110. 3 tens plus 7 tens. Oh, that's 100. But wait, it's only asking us in tens. So that's easy. 3 and 7 is 10. So 3 tens plus 7 tens is 10 tens. Since the unit stays the same, we can just think about our simple fact. 13 tens plus 7 tens equals how many tens? The reason this was 1 instead of 10 was because our unit was different. 3 ones, 7 ones, 1 10. But here we have the same unit in all three places. So 13 tens plus 7 tens is how many tens? 20 tens. 30 plus 70 is 100. So here's a chance for students to practice if they can do 30 plus 70, but they're not sure about how many tens are in 100. Here's where they can see that. And 130 plus 70, how much is that? Well, if I know 20 tens, I also know that this is 200. We'll see more of that work continue and get a little bit more complex where we skip the step of having the same unit. So we're adding ones and ones to make tens. 6 ones plus 4 ones is 110. 16 tens plus 4 tens, well, that's 20 tens, but now I have the word hundreds. So our unit has changed. So we have 2 hundreds. 160 plus 40 is 200. And so on. As students continue that work, they'll get to think about also making mixed units where they have tens and ones. So 9 ones and 4 ones. This is work they had done in grade 1, thinking about the fact that they make 1 10, 3 ones. So what about 9 tens plus 4 tens? Ooh, well, when I get 10 tens, I make 100. So it's 103 tens. We're connecting the work students did with the make 10 strategy in grade 1 as they make hundreds or make 100 in grade 2. So we can do the same thing here. 4 ones plus 8 ones is, I have to make 10, so I'm going to have 1 10, 2 ones. 4 tens plus 8 tens, well, I'm going to use 10 tens to make 100, so it's the same idea. I'd have 10 tens or 100 and 2 tens left over. So I'd have 100, 2 tens. 4 plus 8 was 12, 40 plus 80 was 120, and so on. And down at the bottom of our page, we have a chance to use the arrow method or the arrow way to show getting to the next 10 and adding tens and such. So 124, let's add 6, so that's 130, and let's add 70 more. I know that 13 tens and 7 tens is 20 tens, so that's 200. 124 plus, let's see, how much did I add to get to that 200? I added 76. So we're going to first use our arrow way to think in groups that get us to benchmark numbers. We're going to get to 10, then we're going to get to 100, then we're going to get to 200, and then we're going to think, what did we add to 7? We added 193 to 7.